Afternoon all.
Afternoon. Lovely southwest Wales weather again, Toby, isn't it?
Yeah, beautiful, yeah. Just what I signed up for. Getting used to it now.
Hey, they're not letting you, they did tell you, didn't they?
They didn't tell me that, no, I didn't check the small print.
Toby, just maybe reflect on what was probably one of the most pleasing wins since you've been here.
Yeah, all wins are pleasing, but yeah, obviously we've shown a lot of character in well, all of our games really, even the ones that we've come second in. So, you know, to see, and you know, if you think about the Benetton game was very similar to that in relation to getting a victory in the last knock-ins. It speaks volumes for you culturally, and where you are going from an effort point of view and a desire point of view, which are great indicators of the togetherness of the group and the alignment of the group. So yeah, that it ticks a lot of culture boxes as well as the outcome box, you know.
Did it feel a bit normal as well? People there watching it, bit of noise.
Yeah, that was lovely. Yeah, that was actually lovely to see some people, and obviously what it meant to them. Obviously picking up on, you know, people's comments in the ground as I was doing media at the end, and people shouting across the barriers. It felt a little bit more normal, which was lovely. And I know the players themselves really appreciated that.
It's the Scarlets week this week. I mean, unfortunately the Christmas derby hasn't got a crowd, but have the boys got across to you what a local derby means at this sort of time of year?
I think everyone's sort of got it across to me, to be honest. And as I said I think previously, it's about 1 week on, and coaches think about 1 week forward and 1 week backwards normally. But yeah, we understand that this is the start of obviously the derby season, and how important that is to the people of the region and the group. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Although obviously not with the crowds in, will obviously make a significant difference, I'm sure.
It's a regular question now, housekeeping question, Toby, with the COVID-19. How is the squad? Have you had the test this week, and do you know the results at the moment?
Yeah, we've had our test. We have our test on Monday this week, and we're all good from that point of view. We've had a few boys back from self-isolating from last week, and even though they tested negative, you know, we're erring on the side of caution with the infection rates what we are. Even if there's a hint of it, you know, we're actually probably compromising a bit of our preparation by just making sure that people are fit and well before they come back, with or without COVID. So it's you know, we don't want that double infection or that immune system being affected around large groups of people. So yeah, we have to do the right thing, you know.
And as you said, you mentioned the Scarlets there, Glenn Delaney, sort of building something there. What have you made of them? You have played them obviously in a different sort of format, but in terms of friendlies, but in terms of their squad and their strength and depth, what do you make of what they've done so far under Glenn Delaney? Well,
obviously I know Glenn well, even from my London Irish days, so I know when he was a player. I've known Glenn a long time. I know Richie Whiffen really well. Obviously I know what the Scarlets are, you know, in relation to their pecking order in Welsh rugby. So look, we need to be mindful of that from a squad size point of view. You know, they've got bigger numbers than us, that's a fact, but everyone's got bigger numbers than us. So that's not unusual for us, and hence the reason we're in not just the building of an identity and a style of play. We are nurturing our young talent. We are trying to grow our squad to be more competitive so that we can compete not just on a weekly basis, on a season basis.
So you mentioned that you've done a few things differently this week to sort of mitigate any risks with the viruses. What sorts of things have you done differently? Just reducing meeting sizes or things like that?
Well, we've got rid of a lot of meetings. We've got rid of some. So we've organised things more remotely. We've had to run effectively a split programme after announcing the team. So we're inside, and this is the difficult thing. And everyone talks about being outside, but it's impossible to have meetings outside because of the weather and what you've got, where in the summer we could do that. So what we've done is tried to splice in some of the stuff we did in pre-season when we were in smaller groups, less contact time, you know, just well-practiced common sense really, but it does have an effect on your day length. It does have an effect on, you know, the connectivity within the group, which is what we've all tried to make sure stays very strong, because it's the basis of our group. So look, hopefully it's not for too long while the infection rate and people get control of that. So we're hopeful we can, you know, dip in and dip out, but we just have to do what's right.
Yeah. will you be putting any restrictions on your players for Christmas Day, or will they be okay to see, like the rest of us, at another household? Or
they'll be following the national health government guidelines, as everyone would be. I trust our players to do the right thing and do what is necessary. No one's given me any reason to think that wouldn't be upheld. And we're playing Scarlets on Boxing Day, so why would I?
And you touched on it, and the Scarlets. A couple of years ago, the Ospreys were the standard bearers in Wales. They've lost that title in recent years to the Scarlets. Do you sense that sort of hunger within the region, and from board level to the players, to sort of wrestle that back?
I've been reminded it by a lot of people. Let's put it that way. So if that answers your question, look, everyone knows that this is important, and no one likes their crown slipping. Let's put it that way. So from that point of view, I'm sure other regions would talk about their ownership to the crown, but for us, the Scarlets are the owners of the crown. So if that's the same for us, the same for the Blues, the same for the Dragons, they're the ones that have probably been at the top, towards the top, more consistently than anybody else. So they're the people that are the favourites in all of those from the regions side of things. So we need to make sure, if we want to muscle in on the party, that it starts by putting in a good performance this week, and then the following week, and the following week, and the outcome becomes the outcome.
And just finally from me, just looking back over your career in general, what do derbies mean to you? What's different about these games to your weekly sort of domestic fixtures?
Obviously, I think the big thing is you don't have to worry about the emotional spike that often you have to across a long season and throughout history of sometimes that it's easier to be the underdog than the favourite in certain contexts because there's the expectation side of it. So I think there's less to do from an emotional side. There's more to do as a coaching point of view, from a execution and a clarity side, to make sure everyone's clear and can stay calm under pressure and stay in the moment and not get basically diverted by the attention, on the wrong things at the wrong time. So it's all about playing smart, playing the way that you want to do, and not losing sight of what you need to do as an individual and as a team or as a unit, rather than looking at the outcome and it's a massive derby.
Obviously, there's a lot of players in the Ospreys side, up and coming players, like Morgan Morris, Matt Prothero, and a few others who are probably, you'd look at them and think, yeah, they're future internationals. I mean, before a game like this, obviously a lot of them would be up against players that are currently in the Wales squad. Is that something that you think they think about as well? Because it's a chance, isn't it, to Wayne Pivot's obviously going to be watching, a chance for them to sort of, prove that they're the next level, maybe?
I don't think it's relative to their opponent or their individual opponent. I think that the innocence of youth, as you put it, is the fact they just want to be good and want to enjoy it, and they want to be the best versions of themselves and improve and show that they can deserve to be there. So yeah, that's a massive driver for them, and we create a program that hopefully allows those boys to develop and put their best foot forward, both at the weekend, but for the long term, and that's very important to us. So look, I think that people will make those connections naturally if they perform really well, and the boys, there's a number of boys that you've mentioned and some that you haven't, have really put their hand up as future Ospreys stalwarts that will play a lot of games for the Ospreys, and if they play a lot of first team games for the Ospreys and perform well on the highest stage, then the next level takes care of itself. So it's a good opportunity for them, and it's a good opportunity for them. For example, dealing with pressure. Dealing with pressure is something that you can't mimic in training, and derbies provide a different form of pressure, a different challenge. So yeah, there's a mental side and you're fast tracking people's experience and giving them some scar tissue, which is important. If they're going to make the journey all the way to the top.